Hello, friends and fellow board gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Board Games with Rob. Today, I'm going to be going over another trick-taking game. I say another because I just got done recording a video on fishing, which is probably one of my favorite trick-taking games right now. If you haven't heard of it, know nothing about it, head on over back to my channel. I've done a review slash overview of that one. This one is a very popular one going on right now, and I kind of give it away over on my web browser. It is, and well, let me show you the box first so that I can read it to you. It is the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. Yeah, that's one heck of a long name. And in fact, until recently, it was hard to find it in Board Game Geek. I would put in Lord of the Rings, I'd put Trick Taking, I'd put Fellowship of the Ring, and there's so many blasted Lord of the Rings games in there. It was hard to find out. But I guess because they're algorithms, it's higher up on the list to find. So it's a little bit easier right now. But as we take a look over on Board Game Geek, it is rated at an 8.1 right now with 584 ratings. So it's up there. In fact, it's rated higher than Fishing, and Fishing had probably double the amount of ratings on that. But it's a Lord of the Rings game, everybody, and everybody loves Lord of the Rings, and I do too. Um, and so a lot of my love for this game, and I do like it. I'm kind of giving away my thoughts on the game right up front. What's unique about this is it's cooperative. Now we've had a lot of cooperative trick-taking games here recently with the oh my gosh, the Deep Sea, the Mission Space, the I'm forgetting them, but you know the ones that I'm talking about. So this is a new cooperative one, and so I don't want to get into a lot of the meat of it and the campaign because it is a campaign driven game. What it does, in fact, here's the box. The deck off here on the side is the one that you'll start out with, and there's two boxes. I think there's 16 or 17 campaign or games that you'll actually play over time, and I haven't even played all of them yet. I've played a little less than half of them, and I'm having a great time. It's hard because you start the campaign with a group of people and you kind of want to stick with that same group of people. But the good thing about this game is it's easily resettable. All the cards have numbers and tell you which chapters they're part of. There's no like tearing or destroying any cards. One of the games that comes to mind that's a lot like this is that Harry Potter deck building adventure game from the OP. That's very easily resettable, right? It comes in like five different adventures, I think, or seven based upon the books. This is similar to that, but the you have like um, half the book in one set of the boxes and the other in the I say set of the box in one box and the other half in the other box. I will go over chapter one though with you, which is the very first chapter. So if you don't like any spoilers, fast forward. But this is, I mean, I'm sure this is the one that everybody that's talking about the game is going over. So we'll take a look at chapter one here. And what's really cool about this, before I really get into the chapter, the cards that the cards that you start out with, well, not the trumps, but the suits are here. And I kind of saved this one, and forgive me with the color is going to be a little bit off. I'll show it again on the main camera, but because I'm running a green screen. But you also have the rings, which is considered Trump, and the one ring, right? I've got the one ring, guys. Here's what it looks like in the screen. The one ring. And the one ring is essentially, well, the at this point the well, it's the one ring. It's the card that you may win any trick with. It says you may. So those are the cards, the suits that you start out with. Now, what's kind of cool about this game is everybody's going to start off with a character, and herein lies where the intricacies get started, right? Each character is going to have a special, unique ability. For example, Gandalf. um, and I'm getting ahead of myself, an ability, but also a win condition. In order to win the hand or the chapter, each chapter, you have to achieve each character's goal. So, for example, and this might be a little easier to read, Gandalf is win one or more tricks. So, you have to win one or more tricks with him. With Frodo, you have to, there we go, win win four or more ring cards. And that's can be hard to do because there's only, and this kind of shows you the distribution of the cards. There's only 5 ring cards, 1 through 5. And so, yeah. Um, Pippin, take a look at Pippin. Pippin, you have to be the one who wins the least, win the fewest tricks, or tie for the fewest tricks. So, guys, that's where that's how you win the game, right? Is you meet the different objectives of that chapter, and then each chapter will give you a list of characters to play from. So, in this case, you have to pick from a list of available characters, and if you notice, it's got certain characters, asterisks by certain characters. And the only really components that come with the game, other than the cards themselves, are these tokens. And so you've got a ring token, and the tokens are really nice. They're thick wood, and you've got these tokens right here. So what you'll do at the beginning of the game is you'll put out the different characters that you have, and based upon the adventure, if there is a character that you have to play with, and this is how you can play with, different sets of people, you'll be required to play with a certain amount of people's characters. So, for example, chapter 1, you have to play with Frodo and Bilbo. So you would put a token on Frodo and Bilbo. So the first 2 people would have to pick them, and then you'd have all the other available characters for that chapter, and then the rest of your player count can pick from those available. And I mean, you can do that a variety of ways. You can discuss up front, which ones you want to pick from, knowing which ones are absolutely necessary in that particular chapter. But that's what those nice little thick purple tokens are for, is for putting them on the necessary characters for that chapter. And then it's just a trick taking game at that point. You play your cards with limited communication. You're not supposed to make obviously each person aware what's in your hand, and you play it out. And if you win that chapter, chapter 1 is very easy to win. Then you go on to the next chapter. You open the box and you go on to the next chapter. I don't want to spoil it, guys. Chapter 2 adds some stuff and some rules. The rules are mainly the different characters that you'll get, and additional cards that you may get in each chapter. And I haven't even explored the whole game yet. So what are my thoughts? I really like this. It is right up there with the other cooperative trick-taking games. I would rate this and probably an 8 or an 8.5. Now, why am I ranking it lower than something like fishing, which I rated a 9? Well, fishing is a game that I can get out unlimited times, with a group and just get to playing. This has the cooperative and campaign aspect. You can play this any number of times, with any number of people. You can set it to whatever chapter you want to play. That's kind of fun. Um, but it is story driven, in that you're gonna you progress through the book through Fellowship of the Ring. It could be a little bit of a pain if you want to reset a particular chapter. Um, but I tell you, anyone who's even remotely a Lord of the Rings fan is going to love this game. I mean, they're going to rate it much higher than me. I'm thinking, though, my mind is strictly around, if I want to grab something right off the shelf, and everybody's wanting to play a trick taking game, then I might be a little more inclined to pick something like fishing off the table than I would Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick taking card game. However, if it's something discussed in advance and we're like, hey, you want to come over and play the Lord of the Rings game? Then yes, by all means, it would be something that I would plan around and have set up and more than likely start from the beginning and want to go all the way through. As it is, I'm itching to get it back to the table, but the groups that I want to get it to, they don't want to start halfway through, so they'd want to start the whole game, from the beginning, and so I'm trying to find that right group. And so there's that dynamic, right? Is finding the right group of people to be able to play it with. And that's the only reason I knock it back. It could very easily be a 9 or a 9.5 to the right person. This is a fun game. It's again, it ticks all the boxes. It being cooperative, trick taking. The art, I mean, there's nothing fancy with the art. It's got that kind of mosaic looking feel to it, stained glass mosaic, so I can give or take. There's a little bit of a resemblance to the movie characters, maybe a little bit. And on some of the cards, on some of the others, not so much. I don't think it's meant to be a movie rendition by any means. Any resemblance is, yeah, I mean, because Pippin doesn't really, there's no big thing with resemblance with Pippin. So yeah, now the cards are very good quality, very nice thick. I don't know, it's got the texture, real thick quality cards. The tokens are great. I mean, it comes with the nice case. It is going to be very, very tight if you sleeve. I sleeve my cards, and I can barely get it to fit in the box, but I can. So those that sleeve can still sleeve it. It's got these nice little ribbon, whatever they're called, ribbons to pull the cards out of the box. And yeah, then it, fits right in. It's got a really cool kind of shiny, foily cover. That is really cool. So I mean, yeah, the art is good, great, maybe. But yeah, it's a cooperative trick taking game, folks. That's my thoughts. So I'm very happy and thankful that you tuned in. I'm wishing you tons of companionship combos and tabletop triumphs. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.